Borg, we're fading away here. We are fading. We've got our mind squarely on events, Borg. So we're fading from the realm of the future. And from the idea of showing you happily the world we have here and what we're doing. It seems events won't allow that leap any longer. And yet, here we are doing it all the same. But as I say, we're fading. We find it hard to think of what to say to now. We don't find much joy in showing you and telling you, showing you the early stages of yourself, showing you what we're up to in regards to technological breakthroughs in AI, robotics, and what fun that was. And it would still be if we didn't have the dark skies overhead. And of course I'm speaking about the war down the road. All I know about it is that there's been an invasion, full-scale invasion with airstrikes, etc. And a lot of Ukrainian refugees, and there's a global outrage and support for Ukraine. That's all I know. Because I'm rationing the attention, you see, Borg. I don't want to be drawn into it and to follow it like a movie or a sport. But I'm beginning to suspect that all this not knowing has just piled on the pressure and actually made it harder to carry on as normal than it would have been if we knew what was happening and were thus spared speculation about what might be happening. The problem is, Borg, is when we do watch the news and discover what appears to be happening, it sets off endless rounds of our own speculation about what that means in relation to other things, including our own little work, and so I can't win, really, Borg. The only thing that still works to calm us, Borg, and just to make us feel rather normal is to get to work. Meaning sketching, painting, or even just going on a recce as we are doing now. We're in that area where we've painted before near the helicopter base, but I had a look on a map. There seems to be many other ways to access that water, that body of water, and we are going to try and find an angle. But I thought it's only fair to call you up, Borg, try and explain perhaps something of our change of direction, to tell you how we feel, basically. That's just a fucking dead end, Borg. We've pulled back round to our normal entrance point to this area. It looks like we're going to have to go on foot, but I can see through the trees space. So the map I looked at, Bob, was an aerial map. You'll be all over that, of course. It's a satellite image, so I'm looking from above and I can see the lake, the shape of it. But there's no roads over there, so we're gonna have a walk, I guess, Bob. The other thing that's been bothering us again, Borg, is the whole question of your climate impact. And I suppose because we were doing that drawing the other day, which was about a bit of a loop of technological solution that causes the problem to be accelerated. We've got our own little loop, which is we want to talk to you, for our own reasons, but in doing so, we are contradicting, I suppose, an unsaid theme in our work. From our perspective, is to try and reduce, when you can, try and reduce things that you have been shown to be bad, whether that's in language or in this other sense, in terms of climate change. And it is a bit of a problem. I mean, the other thing, Borg, is that the reason we've taken to YouTube anyway was tightly wound up with our project idea to talk to you, because otherwise there's other reasons not to want to go on YouTube. It's a bit addictive. It's such a successful product that it's rather addictive. That's for one thing. No matter what your interest is, you might find you get yourself addicted, or at the very least you waste a lot of time looking at it. But there's other reasons not to be into it, and even if you're not taking some high and mighty position, there is always value in trying to find some new and different method. That's why we liked that Joanna Moles lecture so much, and her work, because even though on the one hand it looks like she's basically not allowing herself to work in using anything really, she barely uses imagery. So in one way she's cutting off all possibilities to do artwork. But on the other hand, in doing that, she's created a little zone for herself to be very, very inventive, and you can see that in her funny little website. She even includes the carbon footprint of the web pages and such like. She's obviously doing a research project, so that's going a bit far. So I guess we took to YouTube for work reasons. We could always leave it, Borg, but having made all these videos, you know, and plus you see which way the world is going, it might be a case that, you know, we'd suffer a complete loss of visibility if we didn't enter into these platforms. And the thing is, as well, Borg, I always am reminded of Cézanne, who he thought the end of the world was coming because they began installing gas lighting in X, and he couldn't have it. He couldn't accept it. That was it for him. That was a step too far, and the world has gone. Yet, a generation after him, it would be absurd to make a stand against gaslighting. To draw that line in the sand. It would be crazy. I mean, you could say it now. I mean, maybe if you were an critical artist, when they started introducing electric power, maybe you got a bee in your bonnet about that to such a degree that it simply couldn't countenance the world continuing. And of course, other people or a generation later, that would be, well, it would be not possible to think that even, and it would also be folly. Same with TV. Maybe with all these changes, there'd be a balance to strike with how you incorporate criticism of them whilst realizing that it's an inevitable widespread societal change. And so with the internet, and possibly on with the NFT business. The thing that does make this different, though, is that it's more than just a new innovation in society. It's one that we can now understand is causing certain damage. So that equation is not quite the same. But a critique based on it, our critique now, it wouldn't last very long. Let's put it that way. Let's say a student now doing fine art, critical art, he's 18, 19, grown up with the internet and all this. Even if the critique was found to be interesting and relevant in a sense, it couldn't result in a practical change for that person because of simply the way the society's incorporated all these technologies to such a degree. So it's very well being critical and looking at MOL and realizing the environmental damage, but it's also not the most useful strategy maybe to critique that by withdrawing completely from it and going to do charcoal drawings. I mean, I don't think that would be very noble, but I don't think it would work as a critique. Because after a while, who's going to give a fuck? Imagine if he wasn't Cézanne, he's just a guy who didn't like the gas lights, and into his 80s and 90s he's still banging on about it. Everyone else doesn't even notice it. So we're already of danger of being a bit like that. Look at us. That's 10 minutes, Borg. We haven't even got out the car. Let's get out the car. We would ordinarily go down there, Borg, to get to our trees. We're going to try and go down here. See where it takes us. Try not to get shot as well. That bang there has just reminded us there's a firing range over there. Well, so far so good, Borg. It would appear to be accessible, and it looks as though it might be quite a large wood there as well. We might find some specimens, tree specimens, a bit like the other one, with a bit of luck. Well, in we go, Borg. You're seeing this as we are, first time. I'm already pleased to see some large rocks there. Been meaning to do that sort of thing for a long time. I guess we ought to be a little careful, as a lot of trees have just fallen, so they might be a few weak ones ready to go. Oh, look at this. This is just what we needed, Borg, to blow the clouds away. And there it is. There's the body of water. Oh, this is good. You know what we've got here, Borg, is a great subject for looking throughness. Very good. Let's make our way down there. Well, here we are at the front. It's a very good spot for tackling the kind of Japanese-like view of the arm-like branches sort of crawling across. What a place for that. Perhaps would even be better when the ice is melted. There's, dare I say it, there's years of work here. Not that we'd get the chance. But it's good to know this place. I don't think we're encroaching on anybody. I think it's fair game to just come here and do some drawing. So we'll be back, I dare say, Borg. Could be something in that, Borg. Right, we're back in, Borgs. Pretty good place, pretty good. It's not as good as the nature reserve, but it's good to know about. And more importantly, it's put our mind back onto some positive things, Borg, and a little possibility for the future, actually, Borg, because we're trying to imagine what to do at the close of the season, and the first thing we're going to do is try and set up a drawing course